so modifiers we need to understand. Okay, modifiers is a very important concept. Let's go and understand modifiers. So in the program you have seen already, we have written a public class name, and then public static void main method. So what is this public and what is static? All this we need to understand one by one keywords. So you already aware of class. Class is no. So it's kind of template, a blueprint. It's going to have members. So it's going to have members like this. So and you can have a method, a main method, and you can write your own methods also. At the same time, we can we need to understand what are the keywords. So reserved keywords. So we are seeing there. So and class naming conventions also you understand them. So modifiers is reserved keywords. So when you apply them, the meaning will change for that. So the meaning will change for that. So that's called modifiers. So modifiers are two types: non-access modifiers and access modifiers. So non-access modifiers are final, static, abstract, volatile, transient. So these are the non-access modifier keywords. And so access modifiers means, so basically access modifiers are used to set the accessibility or visibility of the classes, interfaces, variables, and methods, constructors. So these are the things. So you will set that. That's the, so where you want to see these classes, where you want to use these classes, where you want to use these interfaces, methods, variables, constructors. So in the entire project. So how you can access them. So that visibility and scope is given by these access modifiers. The permission, where to use, where not to use. The permission is given by access permissions by these access modifier keywords. So what are all the access modifier keywords? So you have 4 access modifier keywords. We have a public, default, private, protected, right? So we have 4 access modifiers: public, default, private, protected. These are the 4 access modifier keywords. So access modifier keywords means always you need to remember 4: public, default, private, protected. So, and let's understand what is meant by public, what is meant by default, what is meant by private or protected. And so let's understand what is meant by public a public is a access modifier keyword. So when you use public keyword on the class, method, variable, and constructor, you can use them anywhere in the project. So the public keyword has if you apply public keyword for a class, that class you can use anywhere in the project. That's the meaning of public. Public, there is no restriction. Everywhere you can access the public related members. So where you can apply this public keyword, you can apply on the class. That means you can create a public class, you can create a public method, you can create a public variable, you can create a public constructor. So all these places you can use public keyword. So where you can use, where you can access. These two questions you should understand. If you apply the public on class, method, variable, and constructor, those members can be accessible anywhere in the project. Even outside also, there is no restriction for public. Public can be used everywhere. So public can be used everywhere. That's the meaning of public. So you can see here, this is the default class, but this method is a public method and this method is a private method. But that's okay. Let's go here and we can see. So when methods, variables, classes, and constructors are declared public, then we can access them from anywhere. The public access modifier has no scope restriction, no restriction on the public. Anywhere you can access. So real example is when you update your Facebook status, so that status is visible for public. Anyone can see that status on the internet. So anyone on or off Facebook also, they can see that status. So that's the public means. So that's the public. Okay. So you can see, you can create a public class, public variable, public methods. So this, see, you can access them even in outside the class also. See, another class also you can access this animal class. How it is possible? Because of public, which has a more scope. So widely you can use anywhere. That's the meaning of that. See, you can access object dot leg count you're assigning for. This leg count we didn't assign, but here you can assign leg count. So display. So the animal class method you can call display method. So in another class you are accessing. So that's the power of public. Anywhere you can access if you make them as a public. Okay, there is a keyword, public keyword is there. So that's the public means. So the public class is animal, is accessed from the any class. The public variable leg count is accessed from the main class. The public method display is accessed from the main class. Anywhere, from anywhere you can access in the entire project. That's the public means. So no restriction at all. Now next, default access modifier. If you don't explicitly specify any access modifier for classes, methods, variables, and constructors, then by default, that is called default access modifiers. For public, you have a public keyword, but for default, there is no modifier keyword at all. Just you will leave it a blank only. That's called default access modifier. So where you can access this default access modifier? So in the same package, any class you can access. A package means a group of classes, right? In the same package, anywhere in that package you can access default members. If you make default class, another class you can access in the same package. Methods also. In the same package, any other class you can access. Variables also, if you make default, you can access in another class also in the same package. So if you make constructor default, you can access in another class of the same package, not outside the package. That's the meaning of default. See, scope is reduced now. A group of people only can access the default access modifier. That means a group of package, only that package related classes only can access, not outside the package. So if you make the status as visible for friends, then your status will be only visible for friends, not your friends or everyone present on the Facebook. That's the friends means. This friends is equal to default access modifier in our real use case. So this status they have given default. Next, see that this class is a default class. Before nothing is there. So that means no modifier keyword at all. So that is the reason this class is called default class. See, this method is a default. See, void keyword before nothing is there. So that is a default method. So the logger class is the default access modifier, and the class is visible to all the classes that belong to this package. This package inside, how many classes are there? All of them can access by this class, or this class can be used there, but not outside. So if you try to use the logger class in another class outside of the default package, you will get a compile time error. You will get a compile time error. So that means, so overall, when the default access modifier accessible only within same package only, but not outside the package. That's a final conclusion. So default means you should not use any keywords. You should not, like public, you have public keyword. For default, you should not write a default. You just leave it blank. So whichever class you want to make public, you will use public keyword. But whichever you want to make default, you should not use any modifier keyword. Just leave it blank. Then you will start your next step, next word onwards. So that's the default access modifier means. See, this class is a default. How can you say it is a default? See, class keyword before nothing is there. That's a default. See, even this variable. So this variable also, some access modifier should be, but here nothing is there means it's a default. Here also, so this is the data type. This data type before nothing is there. That's a default. And even the method, you can see the method static void M2. So there is no keyword. So then that means it's a default. That's a default means. Next, private access modifier. So when variables, constructors, methods, only three you can declare as a private, not class. So private keyword not applicable for the class. Class cannot be declared as a private. And if you make this status visible only for me, that means no one can see this status except you. That's the only me means. Only me means it's a private. So private means completely privacy. Nobody can see. Only you can see. That's the private. That is a private means. And see that a class can be anything, either public or default. But variable, method, constructor you can declare as a private. See, now here I declared a variable as a private. Private string name. So if you try to access this name in outside the class, it's not possible. So that means private access modifier is accessible in the same class only. not outside the class. Not outside the class. That's the private access modifier means. See, now if I try to access this, see, data class private member, I'm trying to class in the main class. So data d equal to new data object I created, d dot name equal to QA automation. I try to automate this. So what I am assigning for this variable, but it will throw compile time error. Why? So this name is a restricted. So this is not accessible in another class. Why it is not accessible? Because of private. If you make anything private, that is accessible in the same class only, not outside the class. Clear?
Yes.
So default means per package. Private means per class. Public means anywhere. See, now you got a error here. So you can make the class is public we made, but variable we made a private. Method also we made private. Even constructor also you can make a private. So next one, protected last access modifier. So protected also similar to private, but the scope is different. The scope is different. When methods, constructors, and variables are declared protected, same as a private. But you have a protected keyword here. Even private also you have a private keyword. Only keyword that doesn't have is a default. We can access them within the same package as well as from subclasses. Subclasses means it's an inheritance concept. Inheritance concept you can use it. So where you can access this protected? See, friends of friends, if you declare, that's the protected access modifier. See this? Again, class cannot be declared as a protected. So which are things cannot be applied for class? Private to protected. These two you should not use for class. Only public or default access modifier are accessible, applied for the class. Now see that protected method I created, then I can access. So dog extends this animal class. This is called child class, a subclass of this class. This is a parent. Parent child is dog. So dog is an animal, right? So this is called subclass. Dog is called subclass. So this is called inheritance. When you apply inheritance, then this protected variables methods you can access in another class. Subclasses you can access. See, now I can access here. No issues. So basically protected can be accessible in the same package any class, and outside package only subclasses. So this is the one complete diagram. Private where you can access within the class only, not within the package, not outside the package by subclasses, not outside the package. Default within the package, yes. So within the package, yes. So subclasses, no. Outside package, no. Protected within the class, yes. Within the package, yes. Outside subclasses, yes, but not outside package. Public, everywhere you can access. Everywhere you can access. So that's all about access modifiers. So access modifiers mainly used for encapsulation. You can secure the data. So that